Alright, let me start off with a question. Are you a fixed mentality person or a growth mindset person? Let's get straight into it. Today, Richie from Majestic Gratitude here, and I want to talk about growth mentality versus fixed mentality, right? What is the difference? Well, the fixed mentality is basically the belief system of thinking that you are your innate abilities, right? That your potential is limited to what you are naturally born with. Growth mindset, instead, it puts the power in you. It basically has that mentality that you are going to grow as powerful and as empowered and great at certain things as you put the practice, effort, and time into. So before we go into all the other things that I'm going to be bringing onto this channel, because it's going to be a lot, and you're going to need to, one, have an open mind when I'm bringing out a lot of these different things, because it may have been paradigms that you may have not thought about before. And also, you're going to need to be open to actually do the work. So I thought that it would be great if we just start you guys off first with a video helping you transition from a fixed mentality to a growth mentality. Right? Now, one thing that I would recommend is to stop seeing obstacles as challenges instead of seeing those challenges into opportunities. Oftentimes, we just feel like these obstacles that are putting in our path, they're there to hinder us when they're really not. They're there for us to learn. A great example of this is that when about 2 years ago, I was struggling to figure out how I was going to pay my rent, how I was going to eat, so on and so forth. And at that time, I didn't quite understand it. I knew there was a bigger purpose for it. However, I didn't quite understand why I was going through such troubles. And then I realized it's for me to learn, for me to be able to learn how to manage my money. Not only for me to attract money, but how do I keep money with me? Now, where I am today is attributed to the fact that I had those times where I was broke as hell. And I am very, very grateful for those opportunities. Now, another thing that I would recommend is changing your vocabulary. Now, a lot of people, when they do something and they don't succeed, they label it as failing in their mentality, right? Instead of thinking about it as failing, try to transition it from failing into learning, because that shift in mentality is going to help you understand that right now you didn't get the results that you wanted. However, it's not always going to be that way. You can do and receive the life that you want. You just have to keep on going. Right? So it's a learning process. I've heard before that there are 3 steps to life. 1 is to learn, the first step. The second is to earn, and the third is to return. So just know that most of us right now are probably in that learning process. I am definitely in that learning stage right now. Learning as much as I possibly can, trying to find out which holds truth and which doesn't for myself. Right? And just moving forward, right? And then eventually it is going to get even further into that earn and then return as well. Acknowledge and accept imperfections. Oftentimes we want things to come out just perfect, and we don't always understand the fact that sometimes that perfection that we're looking for is actually stagnation. We stay in place because we try to think about how are we going to make this so perfect, right? And that's honestly why it's taking me so long to remake another video where I just talked in front of a camera, because I've had trouble thinking to myself, how can I add value to others? What type of things can I talk about that can add value to others? And it's just hindering me because I've wanted to give you guys the best content, the perfect content, and I decided at one point that, you know what, I'm going to need to make do. And I'm going to just put out some things that I have learned, and hopefully it adds value, right? It may not be perfect, but we're gonna learn. Even if we don't learn actually, then we're still going to brush up on our mentality and our mindsets, getting us geared for the next future video. So one of the last things I would recommend is to have a sense of purpose. Really search for your purpose. And this is not just going to come overnight. cannot tell you how many things that I have experimented with. Going out there, making a mess, making things happen. Things don't have to be perfect. That's one of the biggest things that even myself, that I can constantly try to remind myself. Things oftentimes won't even go perfect. But when you have that sense of purpose, that reasoning for why you are moving, for why you are, for what drives your actions, everything else seems to easily fall into place, because when you do experience those obstacles, you understand that you are on your purpose, and you are going to go over it, and you're going to see how can I improve from the situation to get myself and propel myself toward my bigger goal. When you are on your purpose, you don't have time to worry about what other people think. You are constantly working, you are improving yourself, you're heightening and sharpening yourself, and you have other things that you are focused on in comparison to just thinking, what does Sally think, right? Or even just focusing on irrelevant events. You know, like sports, right? Watching sports. I just personally don't really necessarily enjoy it so much, because in my mentality, I'm watching somebody else succeed and I'm cheering for somebody else's success. However, I could be actually improving myself, right? People oftentimes say, oh, we won the nationals, and you know, and I ask him, you know, like, oh, that's awesome, what team are you in? And he's like, well, I'm not in a team. And you know, I just watch them and I just support them. They're my team. They're, you know, mine. And it's just like, where's your name in the back of that jersey? Because you're not on the team. You know, you're not really winning. You're winning through somebody else's experience, which is great, but you're capable of so much more. And you are able to accomplish so much if you understand what your goals are. And understand that you are worth it, that you can accomplish this. When you are on your purpose, you do not have time to worry about what people think. You do not have time to trouble yourself with irrelevant matters. You know what your goal is, and you're going to make the best decisions to help you achieve that goal. So having a purpose actually helps out with a lot of different things. Not only does it help out with having a growth mindset and mentality, but it also helps out with small things you don't even notice. Like, for example, simple stuff like the neediness, right? When you are on your purpose, you don't have time to be clinging on to people or worried like, oh, this person hasn't texted me, or like, oh, you know, they're doing this, because you're on your path. You are making things happen. You are too busy to actually care, right? If they do hit you up, then, and if they do invite you to that party, then perfect. But at the same time, if they don't invite you, you are more than okay. You could use that time to improve yourself. You can use that time to, like in my case, to make more videos, or I can do more editing, or I can, you know, basically work on one of my other businesses, something along those lines. So just keep that in mind, that when you are on a purpose, it is your driving force. You know what you want, and you see these obstacles as a way to propel you over to the goal that you want. And it's just so, it's very important to find a purpose. It may take you some time. It may take you some experimenting, because it took me the longest of times. And that's just because I would consider that I found my purpose a lot sooner than most other people. And that's because I've experienced a lot. I've put myself through a lot of situations. I have experimented with a lot of different things, whether it's, you know, in sports, I've done, you know, karate, judo, swimming, you know, I've done soccer, I've done football. In business, I've tried a handful of different endeavors. I've really tried to put myself in a situation that I could find out what I'm passionate about. And I've started learning, I started developing myself, and it expands your mentality, expands your consciousness. What are you used to? So with that being said, I hope you have a phenomenal day. I hope you enjoyed this video. And again, stay grateful, guys, and I'll catch you guys later. So thank you so much for staying to the end of the video and trusting me with your time. I genuinely appreciate that honor, and I would be honored if you guys would just go down to the subscribe button, click subscribe for future videos I'm going to be coming up. The next video is going to be my interview with Thomas Curtis, the #1 international bestseller and the author of a book called The Awakening, or The World Is Yours, The Awakening. And it is just insane. This man, he has spoken in front of Fortune 500 companies, the largest consciousness expositions in the world, and also in front of like prestigious casinos like MGM Grand and even a handful of other ones. So be excited for that. Hit that subscribe button so that you can be notified of future videos that are to come. And I would love to learn what you guys want to improve on, and hopefully I'm able to add perspective or add some type of insights as to what that may be, right? Because I want to cater to you guys. So drop me some comments, send me a message on Instagram. I have my Instagram down below at _KingMajestic or majesticgratitude.com, and or at Majestic Gratitude as well. So again, hope you have a wonderful day. Stay grateful, and I'll catch you guys later.